Are you doing this?
Market one. It doesn't do that for you. They'll tell you the order. You just write one. Yeah.
Are you doing this?
Doing it.
Hey, brother.
It is, huh? Cool.
Here's what we have so far.
Oh, you have the order?
So far. Heidi's the actual gatekeeper, but I did get it from her.
Like that. You're the man. Thank you very much.
I haven't seen her gone back to get any update yet, but
Hey, just to make sure you're comfortable turning the mic on and off.
Oh, you want me to turn it on?
Oh yeah, you just flick it up. That's it.
Just that one?
Yep.
Flick. Do
Up,
you have
yep.
the one?
Yep. Up for on and then down for off. That's okay with you?
Thank you very much.
yeah, I got an international flair today.
Heidi does this for you.
I have it for you already.
Got it?
I do it for all the weigh-ins.
Oh, look at that.
All taken care of.
You know I do this for Anna
I
and
know.
Fitzy.
I know.
I didn't know you wrote it out for him. I knew you gave him a list.
I do this for Anna and Fitzy right before
Look at that.
have it.
Can't bother you with writing shit down. Oh no.
Look at this.
I know.
There's-
I'm telling you, we're spoiled. We got the international flavor of this one.
You should have seen how it was back in 2014 when I was trying to do ENG, get people down from their rooms, call fights, do the weigh-ins. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Now I just sit back and people want to iron my shirt for me. I'm like, what?
The big leagues. Big time now. They've got it down
I don't
now.
know what's happening because my wife hates me, but I seem to be doing all right over here. To Perth. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, this is the official
I
kickoff.
doubt that
Yeah.
this is the case, but of course, if the main events come before the first person on scale, they'll jump on the line. But that won't,
Okay.
that won't happen
What, we're
today.
heavyweights?
Right.
Yeah, heavyweights coming down at
That
what,
won't
like
happen
11
today,
Oh,
but
no,
like-
it's not 11 o'clock.
Are you announcing the names?
Yeah.
So, hang on,
I'm
John.
John.
Jeff.
Yeah, what's your name?
My name's John.
John. Good to meet you, John.
You too.
When I set the weights when they come up. So
Oh, yeah.
before you call a name, give me just a second to set the weights.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And how long have you got if there's a miss?
Got 1 hour.
Got 1 hour?
Yes, 1 hour.
So where are we? So 2 o'clock, they've got to be at 2 o'clock.
Well,
We're going 11 till 1.
yeah, but it's 1 hour from the time of the weight.
So he hasn't. He or she hasn't. Great. Yep, of course. So it's been a while. Right. Thank you very much.
I could be wrong. 11 minutes. 11 minutes. And he's left with 2 He might jump the line.
Should you need?
Oh, good man.
But maybe not. Maybe.
All right.
I have a bunch of them. Should be. 'Tis the season.
Yes. You keeping well?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's been good.
Not here, so we won't jump the line.
All right. You getting going?
Where's Batari? Batari? Who's starting?
Starting now?
Still like a minute out. You'd be surprised.
You ready?
Make sure Jeff gives you the okay.
As long as we stay off of this, that's what we'll find. You ready? You got your coffee? Good? Ready, Jeff?
Yeah, by the time we start now, it'll be
10:59. Matter of seconds. We'll start.
Yeah, it's like 30 seconds out.
I'm on. Good morning and welcome to the official weigh-ins for UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Spivac. We are all ready to go. First fighter to the scales in the light heavyweight division. Co-main event feature is Da Un Jung.
Right there, baby.
205 for Da Un Jung.
One. Thank you.
And next up in the middleweight division, Jung Young Park.
$185.5.
185 and a half for the Iron Turtle, Jung Young Park.
One. Thank you. Other way.
Next up in the women's flyweight division, Ji Young Kim.
$125.5.
125 and a half for Fire Fist.
One. Thank you.
Next up in the Road to UFC featherweight final, Jung Young Lee.
$145.
145 for Jung Young Lee.
2, 1. Thank you. At 145, right?
Staying with the Road to UFC, this time the flyweight final to the scale, Sung Guk Choi.
$125.5.
125 and a half for Sung Guk Choi.
2, 1. Thank you.
Next up, making up one half of tomorrow's main event, Derrick the Black Beast Lewis.
I had to.
265.
265 for the number 7 ranked Derrick Lewis.
One. Thank you, babe. You hide it well. All about the angle.
146, please, Jeff. All right, next up in the featherweight division, making his long-awaited comeback, Do Ho Choi.
He's got so many t-shirt options.
145.5.
145 and a half for the Korean Superboy, Do Ho Choi.
Thank you, babe.
Next up, it's the final for the Road to UFC lightweight bracket. This is Jeka Serghei.
155.
155 for Indonesia's Jeka Serghei.
One, thank you, back.
Staying with the Road to UFC tournament, this time down at the flyweight bracket, next to the scale, Hyun Sung Park. $124.5 for Hyun Sung Park.
2, 1, thank you. As you look straight at Jeff, sorry.
Next up in the featherweight division, Carl Nelson.
Up there, Kyle.
145.5 for Nelson, who returns to the featherweight division.
1, thank you, Kyle.
Moving up now to the middleweight division, next to the scale, Dennis Tululin.
Up there, Dennis.
186 for Dennis Tululin.
2, 1, thank you, back.
Next up, featuring in the Road to UFC featherweight final, Ja.
That would be it.
145.5 for China's Ja.
This camera right here. 5, you can pose. 4, 3, 2, 1, thank you.
Welterweight division next, and opening up the main card, Adam Fugit. $170.5 for Adam Fugit.
3, 2, 1, thank you.
Next up, kicking off the night in the flyweight division, Jesus Aguilar.
Right here, ready. 5,
125 for the smiling Jesus Aguilar.
thank you, baby.
Next to the scale in the welterweight division, Yusaku Kinoshita. $170.5 for the Dana White Contender Series alum, Kinoshita. Next up, it's the Road to UFC lightweight finalist, Anshul Jubilee.
155 and a half.
155 and a half for Jubilee. He and Serghei will close out the prelims tomorrow. And opening the night in the flyweight division, Tatsuro Taira.
$125 and a half.
125 and a half for Japan's Tatsuro Taira.
Thank you.
Next up in the women's flyweight division, Mandy Boom.
$125 and a half.
125 and a half for Germany's Mandy Boom.
2, 1. Thank you, babe.
Next up, it's road to UFC bantamweight finalist Rinya Nakamura.
Right here.
135 for Rinya Nakamura.
2, 1. Thank you.
Next up in a co-main event in the light heavyweight division, Devin Clark.
Good, how are you? Yeah, I'm feeling good today. Yeah, perfect weight cut. Thank you. I appreciate that.
$204 and a half.
204 and a half for Devin Clark. He makes up the co-main event. And next up is road to UFC bantamweight finalist Toshiomi Kazama.
Right here.
136 for Toshiomi Kazama. All of the road to UFC finalists have now weighed in. 4 UFC contracts will be won tomorrow night.
Well done. 21.
Three to go, ladies and gentlemen.
Killing it on the name, gentlemen. Killing it. I don't know if they're right, but I dig the pronunciation.
Yeah, you just got to how long you practice those names.
Yeah, well, we did the road to UFC stuff from back in June. Let's
you're
just say
familiar with
it's
it.
gotten easier.
Yeah.
There's I shouldn't say this.
Remember all these names.
There's a couple I was like, ooh, yes, well done.
Some of the others from like the earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, obviously you're not pulling for anyone, but you're looking at the names sometimes going, oh boy, this is going to haunt
We
me
all do it.
until like next year, isn't it?
We all do.
If he gets through.
That's awesome.
Maimati Tuhoti Kurumu Ali was one that caused me to sweat for weeks. And I'm still saying it wrong, by the way.
Yeah, that's okay. Good shit, man.
Stand by, folks. All right, let's get back to it then. The other half of our main event in the heavyweight division, Serghei Spivac. $255.5 for Serghei Spivac, the polar bear. Your main event is official.
Thank you, babe.
Staying with heavyweights here, next to the scale, Serghei Ivanov. $256.5 for the number 15 ranked Serghei Ivanov.
One. Thank you, babe.
Going to be a few minutes before we get our final fighter to the scale.
So we capitulated the last few days. Yeah. But before that, it was just really interesting listening to people dressing rooms, locker rooms, sorry, just before they go out, people using it to try and motivate players and get them really fired up. It was really tight. It's awesome. It was nice. It was nice to see.
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
We'll talk a little bit.
You make me look good. I like large shirts just to like wear around the office because then that's like a better feeling fit anyways. It doesn't hug the sides at all and it just flows. For the office on like off days, I like wearing that instead. So you don't even need tars?
He got here. It'll be a couple minutes, but he just arrived.
Translators don't
When they are, because they're going to help out.
See. Sorry. I'm sorry for keeping you waiting.
All right, final fighter is with us in the heavyweight division, Marcin Tybura. $253.5 for the number 10 ranked Marcin Tybura. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the weigh-ins for UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Spivac. We kick off the prelims at 7 PT and then the main card at 10 Pacific. Thank you very much.
Am I doing face-offs as well then?
If the yeah, I gotta call their
I got to call it through. It's that I think people just assume, oh yeah, get that. I'm like, what? It's been like 6 months since I grabbed the microphone. I don't know the run of play. Yeah, sort of. And I just realised anyway, people are figuring it out, right? When it's not on the TV.
Look at the PR schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you call them up like they do on the stage. You know, first bout of the night, Jesus Aguilera versus whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got a new putter, so that was good. New ping putter.
How long have we got? What do you think?
The matchmaking. I usually do that.
I was just gonna, yeah, I was just gonna.
Jeff, can I steal him from your water bottle? No, not at all. What are you talking about? I'm just saying. If I can just.
Slide right up in them DMs. What's that? No. Our Tunisian guys. I got to do this. It matches my underwear. I have my like 6-footer in there, but I'm like, you never know where the box is gonna be. Some boxes like them longer than others, you know.
He's almost over his
Facing off, right?
What's that?
They're
I'm
facing.
still streaming, by the way.
What's that? Okay, good.
Just giving you a heads up.
They're facing off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, never mind. I left it there forever. It was a sticker. It was like a help desk sticker with the help desk number. You used to be able to read it. I didn't think anything about it. It just like changed over time, and at some point it just sort of like finally went away. And I was like, what the shit?
Are you looking forward to being neighbours?
Did you get it? Nice. I didn't know you actually. I knew you put an offer. What? People send me whereabouts it is. What are the major cross streets? You on like that side of Jones?
Yeah, I'm like where your house is. I'm like one behind you.
What's going on? Still off of Robindale? No shit. It's like you're legit name.
I'm literally one behind you.
So did the price of real estate, did that go up, down?
So mine went up, but the other places came down. So sell for more, buy for less. I'm going to have a housewarming party on the Tuesday.
Walk to it.
Tuesday at John Jones fight week. I'll have a warming party. It'll be great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Parents coming over.
Right, never mind. Yeah, your dad's crazy.
Yes, last week was crazy.
You had to get it from somewhere.
That's awesome.
Dad's on probation. Dad's gonna be on his best behavior.
You can
He had a bad Christmas.
you can flush out our own neighbor's watering hole.
But is it like an international thing? Like, is this like international rules? Like, you have bad Christmas there?
He had a bad Christmas internally.
I kept scrolling. Like, how many things?
Yeah, that's the international. That's global.
He's got to get a time limit of drink sort of thing. Like one every hour.
There's rules for the rest of them.
And then you have Charlie there.
Exactly. Well, right. It's like Charlie's there built in to make sure that Dad only has some.
Jail there.
So,
Let me get the
is that
address.
very first
Let me get the
before you
address.
mine?
I never thought. I didn't even think about the fact that you're probably Browns guy. I did Browns.
Oh, yeah.
I knew. Honestly, I knew.
What's your address?
I'll text it, yes. I don't want to yell it over the stream. Yeah. So is that one of the newer ones?
Yeah.
No, that's like the old ones beside the new ones.
Yes.
I walked down that. I watched some of the lately when I try to just change my walking loop. Sometimes I'll go and I'll walk down here. Here's the new builds.
Yeah.
And then I can look over that. You can see over the fence. You can see the back of these houses here.
So I'm on Robindale and Westmond.
But you're going on down to this one here. Then, dude, you're so close. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Even though there's not nice time.
Nice.
Yeah, bro.
So that closed. That happened quick.
Yeah, man.
Maybe they accepted the offer. Did you? How close were you to like what they were wanting?
10 G's under.
Sure, they're still making that.
Yeah. They accepted in the day.
No shit. Is that your favorite one? How many did you put against? Offhand?
Not many, but I went and saw about 40. Yeah, we're doing like well enough for that. Probably 30. Did 3 a day or so. But the
Who are
problem,
you using?
State realtor, someone recommended to me. Really nice lady, but like the problem was all the price thing I was looking at. They were all like flip houses where people bought one and tried to flip it.
Yeah.
So the finishings and stuff were all shit. So this one was good. It was lived in. It was good, neat, tidy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been hearing. I mean, especially those are newer, but they're not older. But I've been hearing a lot of people complaining about the latest builds in the last few years. Like they were rushing to push shit up. A lot of people are saying that even this year.
Where's the nearest bar? What's it called?
Sporting Line. It's the Browns. Then I go to the lodge.
And you can
the
drink.
lodge
You
on
could.
Shelbourne.
You could drink drive from there, right there.
But no, there in the lodge. I go between there and the lodge. Like if you go over to like Rainbow, there's a couple places over there.
I used to go to Rainbow.
There's
Used to go to the Hooters on Rainbow, but it's fucking
Like where you're at, like one like where Robin goes, there's like the cater or whatever, like take a look at to the gym. But if you go right, it takes you towards Blue Diamond. There's shit like Blue Diamond as well.
there's a what gym is that? Planet Fitness.
No, I meant like straight. Like you're really where you're at, you can hit the back road. So if you take that and take it down to the right to is it Arville or whatever, take it to the left, it'll take you to Sunset or whatever where gyms are. Super close. Because sometimes I would take that back road. But, yeah, it's good. It's a great area. It's a good spot.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, Malcolm's right now.
It's going to make those Wednesday podcasts even more dangerous, dude, because I just get fucking lit.
No. I like it.
They're down to the last couple medicals, and then we'll get started.
Some of them, there's no interval. I don't know, that's why I would
casino packages at the house.
That's why I wouldn't mind because the credit card bill would be crazy. But she's like, oh, fuck, you should need packages.
The fingerprint.
Choose whether you can either choose whether to do interest free or the other box is with tax.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Sony gives you a rebate.
starting to line them up.
So just
I'm just gonna go on a limb and say everybody's gonna to shake hands. 'Cause it's
Every
one of
single one.
those.
It's gonna be 60 of them.
Right. So we won't do it this week.
But I mean, but we're 2 hours after I
Remind me.
I got the second angle.
Yep, so before they go up, they'll take the service and then the tops off the coach, go out, square off, go back in.
How are you?
Anticipating the London show. Not for the London show, but for what I'm going to do after.
Well, you can't leave it there. What were you doing after lunch?
Got a house full of names.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Right. Okay. Lose those couple of days. You mean.
Have some pancakes.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the Faceoffs for UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Spivac. Things will get going at 7 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow night from here at the UFC Apex. And we kick off in the flyweight division with Jesus Aguilar and Tatsuro Taira. Next up in the middleweight division is Dennis Tululin and Junyoung Park. Third prelim bout in the women's flyweight division between Mandy Boom and Ji Young Kim. Very excited to have the finals of the Road to UFC tournaments here in Las Vegas. First up will be the flyweight brackets between Hyun Sung Park and Sung Guk Choi. Bantamweight bracket tournament final now between Rinya Nakamura and Toshiomi Kazama. Next up will be the Road to UFC featherweight final between Yi Jia and Jung Young Lee. And closing out the prelims, it's the lightweight Road to UFC final between Anshul Jubilee and Jekka Sadeghi. Looking forward to those Road to UFC finals. So at 10 p.m. Pacific time, staying on ESPN Plus, we will kick off the main card, starting in the welterweight division with Adam Fugit and Yusaku Kinoshita. Featherweights will follow with Kyle Nelson and Do Ho Choi. Next to face off are heavyweights Błagoy Ivanov and Marcin Tybura. Our co-main events in the light heavyweight division between Devon Clark and Da Un Jung. And our main event attraction in the heavyweight division between Serghei Spivac and Derrick Lewis. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. We hope you can join us tomorrow night. We kick off at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you very much.
Try to get Laura Sanko up here in a couple minutes to talk a little bit.
Stop the stream. Thank you for saying that. What's up, bud? Did you do your taxes? Hell of a tax year this year. Come on, dog. Faceoffs.
How about we meet up tomorrow?
Want to get Starbucks? We got extra bonus stars.
See you guys tomorrow.
This guy.
Makes it easier. Let me just see if we can get a. Well, in a minute, I can just I can have a chair up on stage. Whenever you're ready. I almost killed my screen. I was like, oh.
That's on.
I forgot all about Laura Sanko.
Louis, where's your bag?
Oh. You're right.
If you guys are ready, I can. You ready whenever? Sure. You guys are ready. Just making sure. You have deadlines.
Look at that chair. This is a sexy chair.
Gang, as you know, it's going to be an historical broadcasting event this weekend with Laura Sanko, who's going to be the first female broadcaster in Zuffa era to provide color commentary of a UFC event. So we're going to let Laura take a few of your questions. I'll open the floor to questions. Laura, thanks for joining us.
What's up?
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure, you know, once you started commentating on the Contender Series, you thought this was a possibility, but to actually have it come to pass, how does it feel and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal and it's awesome, and I'm incredibly honored to be here. And I'm grateful that the UFC had the belief in me to give me this opportunity in the elevated role, and I'm also simultaneously glad that they made me earn it, because as cool as it is to break the mold, or maybe, I guess, make a new mold, the UFC is very much a meritocracy. So nothing is everything here is earned, and nothing's given, even, regardless of gender. So
It's interesting to hear you say that, because a lot of people obviously are mentioning the historical, importance of this, and I think it deserves that. But in your mind, you think, hey, look, I might have done this, but going forward, let's get rid of the historical factor and just make it like who's the best at the job, and we'll make that what matters.
Oh, that's exactly it. I mean, I feel like I love that this moment is a win for progress, right? We had not international, but I think it was like Girls and Women's National Sports Day just 2 days ago. So it's neat to have these moments that feel like progress, but real progress will be when this isn't a story.
Yeah. What has the emotions been in regards to the reaction you've had? I mean, it's been unanimous support, basically. And
I haven't been looking. I haven't had the guts to look.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been pretty positive.
Okay, good.
For you, it's not, sometimes when these sort of things happen, you get people be like, oh, this is unfair.
Yeah.
But for you to, like you said, have earned it and have got the reaction where people acknowledge you've earned it and are very happy to see you get this position, what's that been like?
That's been wonderful. I mean, as I said, I've kind of been sticking my head in the sand a little bit because, social media is a double-edged sword, and I'm thankful that the reception has been so warm. And I'm glad that I was able to kind of work my way into it, whether it was fans that saw me call LFA, or even Invicta, fans that saw me call Invicta, and then LFA, and then Contender Series for a few years. I feel like at least some core of the fan base has been on this ride with me. You're always going to have detractors. I think women in particular get commented on in a particular vein that even men who are new to a role would never get. And so one thing I think that's really important to me about doing this is that I think anytime you do something for the first time, people are going to have something to say about it. And I'm incredibly thankful that, as you say, apparently the reception has been overwhelmingly good. But on the way up, there is a lot of questioning and I'll just say it, like the number of people I've supposedly slept with is just endless. It's so long, and it would be exhausting if it was true. So, and I don't see other well-respected voices in the sport, they don't get that. Brad Okamoto doesn't get asked, or
I ask him
accused.
from time to time, but-
Okay, well, I'm wrong then. So I hope, I guess, by being the first to kind of go down this, what can be a little bit of a gnarly path at times, that the next woman and the next won't get that type of treatment at all.
First of all, I want to applaud you on even addressing that, right? Because it is bullshit that women get all that sort of rumor mill thrown around them, and
Yeah.
it'd be much easier for you to ignore it. So congratulations on being like, this is ridiculous. Billie Jean King giving you a shout out.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Crazy. I literally, and I'm really glad I finally opened up Twitter, because like I said, I've just been staying off it and trying to remain present in the moment, but I just happened to go on, and that was the tweet that came up, and I literally had to look at it several times, because Twitter is a lot of times there's like Billie Jean King appreciation account, or whatever, and so it's like, is this really her? And yeah, that was incredibly special to have. I think what many people would consider to be the queen of breaking glass ceilings even acknowledge this moment it's awesome.
Last one from me. From what I know about you, you're a very goal-orientated person.
Yeah.
And you want to do, what about, can I get next? What can I achieve next? This is just the first one, right? I'm sure you have plans already about where you can go from here. Maybe you don't want to reveal them, but what are some of your goals going forward, and what can we expect from you next?
I am a very goal-oriented person, but truly right now I'm focused on what's right in front of me, because now that I've sort of walked into this new arena, I have a lot of proving to do here now too, and that's all I'm thinking about for now. Of course, I have goals to continue to elevate my role, but that's way down the line, and I want to earn my stripes at this level, and if that day ever comes, I want that to be a natural progression as well, and not one that people are like, oh, that's weird, why are they putting her there?
Congratulations, well done and well
Thank you, appreciate it.
I know you just want to get to work and do that sort of thing. You don't want to make too big of the momentous occasion, but
Yeah.
like you said, Billie Jean King reaching out. Is there a part of you that accepts the mantle, in the sense it feels like she's passing the mantle on to you to help push women forward in sports?
Wow, well, I didn't look at it that way, but now I do feel the pressure now. Yeah, no, I do feel that responsibility, I do. I think anytime you are the first female in a male-dominated space, there are expectations that go along with that. And there is the feeling like I can't screw up. Now we're all going to screw up, right? I'm sure I'm going to say something incorrect or stupid. We've got 7 hours of talking to do. And I've said incorrect things on other broadcasts before. But in general, I have that feeling like I cannot make a mistake. I cannot mess up, because to a lot of people, it will just automatically reflect on women in general. So I do feel the responsibility of this role in this moment, but I'm happy for it, and I'm happy to be, taking on that responsibility, and I'm gonna do my best with it.
And like you said, I know you don't want to make mistakes, but mistakes have happened in the past,
Sure.
but that's why you're as good as you are now. So if you had a chance in a time machine to go back and look at the young Laura Sanko that was just getting started again, what would you tell her about this whole journey and where it would eventually end for you?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. And now I'm feeding into every stereotype that there is.
We cry a lot out here in the media room. It's okay.
I think anybody who's watched me on Contender Series knows I cry, so that won't be news. We're filming a documentary right now, and part of it, they had me go back and actually watch my Invicta fight and commentate my own fight, which was so hard to watch because the technique was so bad. But there's a moment where I win the fight, I get the finish, and I can see the look on my face, and I remember what was going through my mind at the time. And that was, this is the beginning of my future. I'm gonna be an atom weight MMA fighter, and I'm gonna make it to the top, and I'm gonna become a champion. And then a lot of other things happened, and I got pregnant, and there was no atom weight division in the UFC to strive for. So I guess I would tell her, it's not gonna look like what you think it's gonna look like, but it's gonna be awesome.
When you watch that fight, did the itch to get back in the cage? I see you train still quite often. Does the itch ever show up to want to get out there and compete again?
No, the only itch I'm getting this day is ringworm, occasional ringworm. I'm just kidding. That's a gym joke. I do have the competitive itch from time to time. I think it will most assuredly be in some sort of grappling setting. I'd like to do combat jiu-jitsu, but that is so physical that I would really want to be able to actually train almost like I would for a fight for that. A regular grappling match maybe would be a little bit easier for me to get into, but my schedule's pretty demanding right now, and it's hard to block out long periods of training.
Well, I know every other member of the commentary team is going to want to be jumping on shows that you're there because you bring a lot of fun, but do you have a dream team of guys that you want to work an event with?
Oh man, I mean, genuinely, everyone that I've worked with has been amazing, and it's kind of like it's like hitting pads with a new person or dancing with someone. There's this sort of, sometimes it can feel a little fumbly at first when you've never worked with someone in the booth, and sometimes it just feels like it clicks right away. Like my first show with Paul Felder felt so just immediately like we were vibing and bouncing off of each other, and but everyone has been amazing. Dream team, I don't know if I can pick, honestly. I love going back and forth with DC on the weigh-in show, so maybe I'll put him in there. Joe Rogan was and is the gold standard, I think, in terms of how the fans connect with this sport. So it'd be incredible to work alongside him one day down the road, but he's a pay-per-view guy, so I've got a ways to go before I ever get to sit next to him.
Well, we know you could drink DC under the table, but is there any of the other guys that you think will give you a challenge when it comes to some of the shenanigans that you guys like to do on some of these events?
Oh, the shenanigan? No one's gonna out-shenanigan me. That's not a thing. Yeah, if DC can't out-shenanigan me, then I don't think the rest of them can. Bisping gets a lot louder than I do. He was on the weigh-in show. He was a lot of fun. You guys should go back and watch that when he's out of control. But no, that weigh-in show is great. It's a lot of fun, and it's the first time that the UFC put the label of analyst on me. So as much as that show is like a lot of games and goofiness and playing around, that was super important because when Zach called me about it, he was describing the show, and in my mind I'm like, I don't know if I have time to host another show. And but he hadn't explained what my role was yet, and he's like, and you'll be an analyst. I was like, oh, I'm in, absolutely I'm in. Not that I wouldn't appreciate the work as a host, but that felt so validating to finally kind of cross that line between play-by-play, host, anchor to analyst, color commentary. It's hard to make that jump, and that show did a lot for me.
Does the family realize the difference of the roles? I'm sure they just see you come work a UFC event. Do they
Yeah.
understand the gravity of the difference of roles now?
Oh, definitely, they do. My husband he's never trained, but he is as educated a fan as you will ever find. He watched UFC 1 live and basically hasn't missed a fight since. So he very much knows this game and follows it even more closely now that ever since I was a part of it. My son, when I first started calling Contender Series and there was a little bit of buzz around that, he would come home from school with these cute little drawings. It was like stick figures and said, my mom is the first girl commentator in the UFC, and he spelled commentator like with a K. It was just, it was the cutest thing. So yeah, they're very well aware because we talk about it a lot at home.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Can I say one thing before? Sorry, I'm just gonna own the stage. I know a lot has been made of this moment being about women, and I think that that's incredibly important. And I'm honored to be walking in the same footsteps as Kathy Long, and I so appreciate that she is getting more recognition because of these moments. Maybe people are looking up who she is because she's an absolute badass, and to take that job for commentary on a sport that didn't exist until the night she was commentating it is just absolutely wild. But I have to acknowledge and thank the other people that blazed this trail before me, and there's sort of two groups. On one hand, you have the women who've been part of this broadcast team for a very long time. Megan O'Leary, Karen, Heidi Androl, now we've got Charlie, and there are others I'm sure I'm not naming. They showed me that there was a path to be host, anchor, and reporter, and that was amazing. And I'm excited about this because I feel like now there's representation on that other side. But the reality is that I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for guys like DC and Bisping and Dom and Paul. Because when I was watching MMA, it was Joe and Goldie, and Joe was and is the gold standard of color commentary. So it wasn't until those guys came along and I went, oh, the UFC is intent on giving a voice to people in the fighting community. And these guys completely reinvented themselves. And if you have the fight knowledge and you're willing to put in the work and turn yourself into a broadcaster, there is a place for you. So I want to also, even though this is like a girl power rah-rah moment, I have to acknowledge the guys that came before me as well, and how amazing and awesome every single one of them has been in welcoming me into their sandbox. So that has meant a lot to me as well. So that's it, sorry, monologue.
Thanks, Laura. Thank you.
I need to clap, oh my gosh.
For sure. Dad. Thanks for sending that reminder. I almost killed my screen. Thank you. Yeah. That would have sucked.
Shyness of those around here, you know? That's the good news.